I was miserable. I was allergic to melancholic music, and I was just walking in the dark again. And when I was in the dark, everything was just blurry. I missed Andy. I felt like a part of me was missing, and at the same time I felt so much guilt for everything I had done to him and everything I had done to her and to my husband. I was just trapped in misery. And I thought it was so tragic that he chose her and she doesn't even want him. She stopped loving him when she got cancer and he didn't manage to step up. When I now look back at my thoughts then, I just want to slap some sense in my past self. Do you rather want him to choose you, knowing that he doesn't love you either? He would resent you for the rest of your life and blame you for his failed marriage. And he would let you feel it every day. Look what he has done to your brain in just 2 months. Can you imagine how broken you would be after 3 months, 3 years, or even just 3 hours more with this person? But my future self didn't visit me, so I stayed in my denial and my delusions. I managed to get through work without revealing my struggle, and also at home everything was okay. But I felt a distance between us. I think he realized that I wasn't getting better. He was supportive, but he probably started losing hope as well. I really wanted to make it work with my husband, but I was stuck on Andy and I didn't know how to get out of it. I felt I had no closure. I didn't understand why he was treating me so badly, but I wouldn't reach out. Now he got until the summer to win her back. I wouldn't stay in the way of his happiness. I couldn't clean up the mess with them, so I decided to clean up other stuff in my life. I had to get rid of some other weight from the past that I was carrying on my shoulders. My ex. Long story short, I fell in love with someone the first time I went abroad. I worked in his company and we were living together. I didn't apply for university that summer because I wanted to stay with him. We had a very passionate relationship, and after 6 months living together, he turned to me one morning and said, "I need space." I had 1 week to pack my stuff, and suddenly I was at home at my parents with all I owned in 1 suitcase. I was devastated. I refused to unpack my suitcase because I was determined that I would not stay for long. I had a really bad depression. I loved him, and I had lost all in 1 week: my job, my home, my partner. The next 6 months I woke up crying every morning. I was praying every evening that I would just fall asleep and never wake up. And it went like that every day for 6 months. I got a job very fast, so I could save money to leave again. And first, when I stepped foot back in that country, my depression disappeared. I got a new summer job in that country and I felt I was where I belonged. And that summer, 8 months after the breakup, I would meet my husband. It's not that I'm still missing him or that it would still hurt, but my husband once in a while asked why we don't just hop on a plane to visit my ex, maybe we can get some free rounds with golf. And my heart would just stop every time. I would just say no, but inside I would get really angry. And that's how I know that there is still something unresolved. Anyway, me and my ex were friends on Facebook and sometimes sent a birthday greeting. But nothing more. I've sent him a message. There was a bit of small talk and then I went right to it. "We had a great time," he wrote. "Yes, but it ended just as fast as it started." And he replied, "Yes, not good." "What was it? What happened?" And he wrote, "I guess I got scared." Yes, I was a very violent person, I joked. Very. Not easy with feelings. "Have you thought about me once in a while?" And he answered, "Yes, I still do, but didn't want to bother you. I always wondered if you loved me or if it was just sex for you." And he answered, "Was much more than sex. I'm still so sorry that I've hurt you so much. It was very hard for me, but I'm good now." "Good. I'm so sorry, and I also regretted letting you go." And I replied, "But it's okay, I forgive you." "Thank you. Not sure if I can forgive myself. I have problems getting close to someone. I get scared, strange stuff." And I answered, I know. And it felt so good. After 14 years, I finally got an answer and an apology. I wished I could get this kind of closure with Andy. Just saying that we never meant to hurt each other and move on in peace. I did not want to carry this trauma with me for the next 14 years like I had with my ex, but one step at a time. May came to an end, and I had my appointment with the healer. I came in the room and broke out in tears. This was the first time I was really crying, and tears came out like waterfalls. And I told her my story. I told her that I want to make it work with my husband, but I can't get over Andy, and I'm wondering if I maybe was meant to be with Andy and therefore can't let go. Nothing ever had felt so right than being with him. As you can see, I was still in my delusion. She asked me if I hadn't cried about that before, and that I have to let myself grieve, because I had just lost a loved one. And then we started. I laid down and she would get me to relax. First she got me in deep trance, and then she cleansed my energy. She removed all of Andy's energy that was stuck with me and sent it back to him, and reclaimed my energy back. And then she connected me with my helpers. She would ask questions that we agreed on beforehand, and I would say out loud what they answered me. She also taped the whole session, so I can go back to their messages later. I was expecting that they would be all fluffy-duffy, loving of everything. But no, they were very clear. I was never meant to meet Andy. We have nothing to do with each other. We are not in the same soul family, and also his wife was not supposed to be in my life. We are not supposed to play any part in each other's life. This was nothing but a tragic accident. They said that Andy is dark, and I was temporary in darkness, and that's why we saw each other. And we got drawn to each other because of the darkness. They said they don't want me to think about him. I shouldn't wonder if anything meant anything. And I shouldn't even care if he's okay. I should just brush him off my shoulders. I can have compassion for his wife, but nothing more, and I shouldn't even try to make things right with her. They said the darkest darkness had already passed. Life is grey now, and soon it will get light again, but it will take time. They told me that his wife was a queen soul, that she is strong and supposed to be like a queen, but she is not shining her light, and they will throw even more obstacles on her until she is forced to recognize her own strength, and until she can emerge as the queen she is supposed to be. She will leave him eventually. She will understand that she has to protect her children. They wouldn't tell me anything about Andy at first, but I kept asking. And then they told me that Andy is drowning, and that they are just waiting for him to come home. I got so sad. I asked if I can do anything, but my spirit guide just shook his head. We are not supposed to interfere in each other's lives. There's nothing I can do. He has to follow his path, and we don't share the same path. We were not even supposed to cross paths. And then he showed me a glass of milk and put his little finger in it and explained, a little part of his soul, just like the little finger of a body, is now in this physical body. Then he took the finger out of the glass and shook the milk drops off and continued explaining. And when we pull him out of this life, we will just shake all the pain off his soul, and he will be healed instantly. But he is none of your concerns. For you, it's just to get rid of him. And then we went to see my soul family, and all the light figures came to me, hugging me. The last time I was there 8 years ago, we would be jumping on the clouds. I was so happy. But I couldn't this time. And they were asking me why I was so sad, and I cried and cried. I said I didn't deserve to be happy. And they were hugging me. My spirit guide came and said, "Stop beating yourself up. You didn't sleep with him. You crossed some lines, but you didn't do anything to harm anyone. All you did came from a place of love. We tried to warn you. You heard us. You didn't listen anyway, and now you are where you are. And now it's time to let go and to get back on the right path. Then the healer asked me if I recognized someone in my soul family. And my husband came, and I cried so hard. He winked at me and said, "I told you so." He took my hands and slowly we started jumping on the clouds. He wanted me to be happy again. I had been so lost, and now I could finally see the obvious. They told me that I should go home and that I should cry together with my husband, that I can talk to him when I struggle. I should not be afraid of hurting him. He wants to help me. And he wants to be there for me, and opening up will get us closer. I have to stop trying to get through it all alone. I have to ask for help when I need it. And I asked them, "Am I mentally ill?" And my spirit guide answered, "No, you are not. But if the dark clouds get very dark, it doesn't hurt to talk to someone." I've been there for 3 hours, and when I got out of the trance, I was smiling. I went home and told my husband, and he said, "I've never doubted that we belong together." After this experience, I didn't have any panic attacks anymore. I was finally done with those, and me and my husband were finally connecting again, on all levels, for the first time. I wanted to continue this healing path, and I recorded my own guided meditations, using a lot of what I had learned from the healer, and I started meditating daily. I had a chakra healing meditation, just to get me centered, and when feelings would bubble up, I would take a shadow work meditation, where I would unpack all trauma and heal it. I was like a new person. I was balanced and happy. And each time when a dark cloud came, I would use it to unpack old wounds that had never healed. I can tell you about one big breakthrough. One thought that would come up again and again was that I could never tell my side of the story, because I was trying to protect Andy, that I was still the villain in everyone's eyes who was throwing myself on him. This feeling that I never really defended myself, and also that I let her attack and threaten me, and even let Andy yell at me, and I never stood up for myself. I just let everyone blow out their anger at me, and I tried to be as understanding and nice to them as I could. So I did a shadow work meditation. The idea is to use now occurring feelings to unlock early childhood trauma, so you can heal it and stop repeating the same problem over and over again. The first step is to recall the feeling that comes up about an issue you have now, and feel the feeling until it dissolves of its own. It's important to stop the story in the process, to feel all feelings to all aspects. When I asked when I felt those feelings the first time, and what was behind it, I got thrown back to 5th grade when I was 11 years old. The whole class was bullying me for over a year. There were drawings on the blackboard of me, there was water on my chair. They would hold the door closed so I couldn't get in the classroom until the teacher came. They were throwing my stuff around in the classroom, and I didn't know what to do. They were constantly picking on me. I told the teacher once in the beginning, and she said, "That's typical children. One day you're friends, the next day you're fighting. There's nothing I can do." After 1 year, they lost interest and stopped. They had a new victim. After 2 weeks bullying the other girl, her parents contacted the teacher, and the same teacher I asked for help was yelling at everyone and threatened to call in all their parents, and the bullying stopped immediately. My heart sank. It could have been over after 2 weeks. I ran through all the memories, felt all the feelings until they dissolved, and then it was time for healing. Usually I would imagine that I would come as the adult me, and I comfort the child me and say loving things. But this time my spirit guide came, took my hand and said, "And now we go and tell your mom." And I started crying. I had never told her. I ran through it all alone. I didn't want to disappoint her, that I wasn't a perfect child, that I was desperate trying to be. "And now we tell your mom." And I was just crying. "And now we tell your mom." And the third time, I managed to tell her. And I could feel the heavy weight lifting off my shoulders. It was not about what they did to me. It was about what I did not do for me. The pain that I had been carrying with me all the years was about me not standing up for myself, not getting help, not speaking up. And that was what I was repeating now with Andy and his wife. I got it. I wasn't struggling that much anymore. Dark clouds would still come by, but I would continue meditating each day, and one by one healing old wounds. I was happy. I was shining my light. But the thoughts about Andy and all that had happened would still be there every day. That was something I somehow couldn't shake off, but it didn't affect me so much anymore. But I still had the feeling that I was missing something, and that I hadn't got my lesson yet. I stopped following celebrities on Instagram, but would follow spiritual masters instead. I wouldn't listen to music when I went for a walk, but I would listen to podcasts like Super Soul Conversations with Oprah or the radio show with Wayne Dyer. I was determined that I want to heal it all. I was finally able to forgive him and forgive myself. I understood now that I didn't know better at that time, but I knew better now and I would do better.